If you're new to hiking in the Ozarks and you're looking for a trail that's scenic but not too overwhelming, this is a good place to start. This is a good one. I'm Rygel, based out of Harmony, Arkansas, and each week we explore trails across the Ozarks. We give you honest breakdowns of the trails and what you need to know and which ones may be right for you before you go. Mossy Bluff Buckeye Trail is a 1.9 mile out and back, a small elevation gain of 242 feet. It takes about 45 minutes to maybe an hour and a half if you really take your time. Starting off, it's a pretty defined trail. Mostly packed gravel, little rocks here and there, some step downs. This one is maintained by the Corps of Engineers around the lake here. Pretty easy to find. There's some trail markers here. This is the first one. And we'll continue from there. Little walk bridge here, crossing the creek. As you're coming down the trail, first bit of scenery, you can actually see the dam to the lake over there. And there's people driving across it. There's a bridge that goes across the top of the dam. It's really cool, balanced rock. There are some briars along the way. Not long into the trail here, you go from what's been pretty open so far, you get into where it's actually forested, and so the terrain changes a little bit. It's not so rocky and packed here now. It's leaf covered, especially in the winter or the fall. It's a little bit more of a clear path during the summer, especially as people continue to walk the trail. I think we're coming up here on another couple of trail markers. Can't really see that one anymore. It's supposed to be a 7. Or 9. part of the trail does have some drop-offs pretty close, but I mean the trail stays a few feet away from the edge. And if you look right down there, you can actually see a little waterfall. So getting a little further into the trail, it runs along the creek here. We're gonna cross the creek here in just a minute up on that bridge up there, if you can see it. I'm kind of surprised. A lot of times this part of the creek is dry during the winter as well, but we have had some rains recently, so get a little bit of the flow here in the creek. Take you down to it. It's a really nice view. There are parts that are a little rocky around the creek. It's easy to kind of lose the trail in a couple of the bends, but it's pretty defined once you get back to it. There's a little bit of elevation gain after you cross the creek, but nothing too serious. Just uphill a little bit. And so we have a map here where we are. At this point here, right after you cross the creek, there is a decision to be made. You can go left or go right. It makes a loop, so it doesn't really matter which way you go. So we chose to go left at the Y for no particular reason, but I do think that this way stays a little bit more along the edge of the hill, so you get a little bit better views. It's not very crowded today. We saw a couple of trucks in the parking area, but the visitor center was also open, so they may have been in there. And as you come around the corner, you can see the river down there at the bottom of the hill. That's the Little Red River. It comes right out of the dam. I don't know if you can see it, but you can still see the dam back there. We'll continue uphill a little ways. This is one of those classic photo op spots where it looks like you're lifting the whole rock, right? And there's the bluff line. It's really cool when you get to this part of the trail. As you can see, there's some little caves up there in the bluff. Sure, some animals use them from time to time. We kind of mellow out through the woods for a while. Made it to trail marker 13. Still going along the bluff. We have the bluff here on the right, and the river is down there at the bottom of the hill to our left. The trail is still pretty much just packed dirt through the woods. There's a few places where you cross some big rocks. Nothing that's too hard to navigate. This is one of the rock fields that you cross. You gotta kind of watch out when there's leaf cover, but it's not too bad. Pretty straightforward. Could be an ankle roller though if you're not careful. But some great views. The rocks don't last long as you cross them. Then you go back into the woods. In this part of the trail, you finally meet up with this bluff that we've been following to our right. So we're nearing the end of the trail here, and it's a pretty easy go, pretty easy trail for children, older people, whoever you may be. It is dog accessible. We just met a dog. The hardest part is at the very end, and if you can see behind me here, there's some winding stairs. They go up to the overlook. But that's where the best part is. That's where the view is. So we shall continue on. We reached the top. The John F. Kennedy Dam. Not any water coming out of it right now. Trout hatchery. This is the overlook. And that's one thing that I appreciate about trails like this is they're consistent. Not anything too dramatic in elevation gains, just consistency. That's how a lot of our struggles are. That's how a lot of life is you just got to keep going. Sometimes it gets a little tough, but for the most part, just stay consistent, and then you eventually get to the view. And sometimes in life it takes a moment, but it's worth it. We're back to the split, and this time we're going to go left coming back. It'll be the opposite way of the loop that we did last time. So we reached the end of the Buckeye Mossy Oak Trail here today. Let's see, overall it's pretty beginner friendly. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars for being beginner friendly. It is a super easy trail. It's not very long. The only thing is there are some stairs at the end of it. It does get a little tight right before you get to the stairs along the side of the hill, but nothing crazy. There's a few rocks you have to cross, but nothing crazy at all if you just watch where you're going. Worth the drive. I'm going to give it 3 stars. I give it 3 because it's pretty close to us. It takes us about 30 minutes or so to get here. If you're coming from farther, if you're coming from like the Little Rock metro area or somewhere further up in the Ozarks, it might not be worth the drive just for this trail. But the good thing is that it's right next to the lake and the Little Red River. So there's lots to do here around Heber Springs. If you're already in the area, it's a good option to spend part of your day. Is it good for families? I'm going to give it 5 stars because this is one of the easiest trails around that actually has some really good views as well. There's some good views of the river and of the dam and of the bluff, some little cool little caves. There's sometimes, depending on the water level, a couple of little waterfalls along the creek. So good for families. I'm going to get it 5 stars. And this is actually one of the first hikes that I remember taking when I was a kid as well. A moderate incline, I'm going to give it 3 stars. I would give it 4 because it's pretty easy. The only reason I'm giving it 3 is there are a lot of stairs at the end that lead up to the overlook. And so if you get winded very easily, you know, you're going to be out of breath when you get to the top of it. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy trail. So if you enjoy exploring local Ozarks and you want honest, practical breakdowns before you go each time, and I post trail videos weekly, and I'm based out of Harmony, Arkansas, and I'll be covering trails around Heber Springs, Greers Ferry Lake, and the rest of the Ozarks, maybe even the Ouachitas. So thanks for viewing, and I hope to see you again.